I'll kick us off here, fellas. We've had some traveling going on. The band's back together this week after some traveling. The usual suspects have been traveling with Jimmy and Skylar. So welcome back. We're going to get into the interior update, which came out really over a week ago now. So we're kind of jogging some memories. And we'll see how good we are with the memory. And because I'm going to go straight for the jugular here and just kind of ask, instead of go through the whole thing, is there anything that sticks out to you on that interior post or any kind of overall impression that you remember? Ready, set, go.
I'll start. I like the fact that they updated to the 21st century and added a bunch of USB-Cs instead of a bunch of EAs.
Good one.
No, from the prototype vehicles that we've seen, since 2018 and through early 2019, there was USB-As everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they added USB-Cs in most of the places, and then with a couple of USB-As, I think underneath the center console, underneath the dash, excuse me. That is my pro for the interior takeaway. My con for the interior takeaway is the crumb catcher right there in the center console by the wireless phone charging pad where they have the key sitting, because that is going to be a crumb catcher for sure.
Yeah.
So, man, I'll start with an overall impression, and then I'll go into some specifics as well. So, overall impression, I'm really, really excited. It looks like they used a lot of great materials. I think it looks very high-end, very classy. And one of the specific things that I was happy to see is no more swimsuit liner, mesh pockets in the doors.
Yep.
And I even noticed something that's a little bit different than what I saw last in the configurator. So there is no exposed strap or buckles where there was before. I agree with Jimmy about that slot in the center console being a crumb catcher. I'm also not crazy about the lack of cup holders. I think the only two in the back seat are in the fold down part of the middle, and those two up front. That one that it looks like the water bottle's about to fall out of. I'm curious to see how those function in real life. However, one of the things that I love about the interior is that open center space in front of the center console. And I feel like there could be additional accessories or something that you could put in for to be able to hold more cup holders, or I think that's a fairly flexible and versatile space that might be some Rivian or aftermarket accessories for.
Yep, those are really good ones, man. You took really mentioned a lot of great points that I had in my mind too. So with that said, Mafro, do you have anything that you were thinking of as far as highlights that haven't been covered yet? They covered some good ones, so.
Yeah, so one thing that I found... What's that?
Good luck with the leftovers.
I know. Well, actually, I'm happy to know that the one that I would have said hasn't been claimed yet. So to me, it's actually really impressive that they can do 3 car seats across the back seat. As a young family guy, 3 car seats is big. And especially in a truck, I don't think you hear about that often. Usually they have enough for 2 and, 1 empty spot. So that's impressive, because it means, to me anyway, means there's going to be a lot of room, and so that's exciting. I actually, on the flip side though, as much storage as that's built into this truck, I almost feel like there is a lack of traditional storage, if that makes sense. I don't think there's a glove compartment.
Nope.
In this car.
No.
So, that's interesting. And then, getting used to like drawers coming out from under seats and, what have you, that's going to be interesting to get used to. like where do you store your documents, all your papers? Like, it's going to take up probably one of those drawers. So how much space do you really have left in that drawer? But to Skylar's point, I think there's going to be a huge market when this truck does come out about peripherals, like third-party peripherals, like an organizer for those drawers. As he said already, where that center console would be. I think that's going to be a pretty neat market.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe branded by Rivian Stories. I don't know, maybe.
I know. That's what we need to invent, is like a good little thing. We need to find a supplier, and then we can sell that stuff. We can just split it all up and divvy it up together, which would be good. Those are good points, guys. Like those are a lot of things I thought of too. Same thing with the cups, as you said, Skylar, for sure. Great points by the storage, because under seat storage will be interesting. I will say that after having my wife's Pilot, I know that my wife's favorite part will probably be that area in between the front two seats where that bag is, because it is so versatile, and whenever she takes it, it's the perfect place for all her bags, and she's like a bag addict, so she'll love that. The Honda Pilot's done a good job of having a place for bags and stuff, so that's cool. Overall, just it looks like it's great to it looks like all the materials, just like a good synergy to it all, like just great design, I guess, from an aesthetic standpoint. So I want to do this as far as taking it into, there's a lot of other stuff that I think we could talk about. Bluetooth speaker, a handful of other things that are about UI of the screens, right? That's going to be a huge one, because we do get some glimpses of the UI of the screen. It looks to be, to me, a really cool design. I personally like the design language of the screens. Personally, even like way more than like the Hummer or even the Ford F-150 Lightning, to me anyway. Just has a good feel to me. We didn't get any of that, of course, about the UI. I know a lot of people are asking for it. We will go through like just a quick skim here through the site, but to take us there, and while I'm going there, Jeff, I want to put you on the spot a little bit, because you have recently been able to get up close and personal, kind of touch the inside of an R1T, sit in the seats. And that's another thing, when you see the picture of the seats, that's one of the first things I noticed. Like, they really look substantial in some of the new pictures. Can you have, and I know that you sat in more of like a prototype even before like the recent ones as far as pre-production, but can you just give us like a quick 1 minute overall impression of your time very close and inside the R1T?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was very fortunate to be one of the lucky few invited to an event, really just to show support of a bill that was looking to be passed in my state. Mm-hmm. With that said, I would say, they clearly told us this was an early prototype, but from the inside, you would never know it. I mean, on the outside, it was actually, in my opinion, was pretty cool to see there were some bumps and bruises, which to me just says they're really putting it through its paces. But, the interior, you would never know. I mean, I've never sat in a vegan leather seat, but I will say I don't think I will ever want a leather seat again after sitting on that. It was like butter. And then to know how many miles were probably put on this car made me feel even better, because I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but you get a new car, the seats feel great, and then 3 months later, it's kind of like your ass print is in the base, of your seat. I mean, of all the asses that, I don't even know if you could say this, but of all the asses that sat in those seats, it felt brand new, so, but I loved it, I mean, the interior really impressed me. And the UI and just how everything was so thought out, when they designed it. Yeah, I mean, it was really nice.
That's good feedback. There, go ahead, Scott. Yep.
And Jeff, didn't you compare it on some level to your Land Rover? And yeah, if you might be able to just kind of talk through that comparison, maybe the luxury type feel or whatever. I can't even remember exactly what you said.
Sure. No, I mean, from a Land Rover perspective, they're different, right? Like, they're different. Land Rover definitely has quirks, but it is a beautiful car. But I would definitely say the Rivian has a different aesthetic, right? Like the wood on the dash to me is something I've never seen before. I mean, I've sat in every type of luxury car you can think of. I've been in Bentleys, which is interesting because I know they're using them as sort of like a benchmark here. I've been in Ferraris, I've been in Lamborghinis, I've been in every type of car you can think of, and it was still, to me, it was at another level. Now I think a lot of EVs are starting to go that way. They're starting to realize what's important to their consumers. But sitting here firsthand, it was second to none, really.
Wow.
That's a really good port.
And I've loved my Land Rovers, man. I've been in Land Rovers for 12 years, almost 13 years. So me saying that, I've driven the range. I've been in SVRs. I've had an SVR. I've had an autobiography. So that's their tip of the spear, and I really think a Rivian Trucks interior definitely sets it apart.
Those are high marks right there. We appreciate you going into that, especially having so much experience with some really nice vehicles. To me, the thing that's kind of surprising about that is when I look at the pictures, it's not the first thing I think of, that this outclasses all these crazy nice luxury cars. But I think that the big compliment there is that it's this simple, like, beauty and quality. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't look too fancy. It looks like you can kind of live in it, to me, with kids and all that kind of stuff. But I guess what I'm saying is maybe when I get it, you'll have that impression, but that the designers really did a lot by reducing and simplifying and making it, I don't know, I'm struggling with words here, but you guys know what I'm saying? Well, it's not too flashy, but it's still...
I want to build on that.
Yeah,
I want to build on that. So I know there's going to be people watching us like saying, "Are you crazy?" Right? So if you sit in a Bentley or you sit in an autobiography, right? Like every piece of steel is like, what do they call that? Like curled or something, where they basically engrave every piece of metal in the vehicle. This is not. I'm not comparing that, right? Like there's definitely a finish on these things, but. To me, as cars evolve, there's less of a need for those types of things. Like, I don't care if my car has an IWC watch in it. To me, that doesn't impress me. To those, I guess maybe it does. But what they did was they simplified everything, much like a Tesla, but raised that bar, right? Like, to me, it's the quality of what's in there is second to none. Right? Like it's not, they put 50 buttons in there and every single one's like a certain type of stainless steel or silver or whatever else, it's more of like they put in there what they needed to, and then just took it up another level.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard them mention quite a bit about different textures and just kind of the feel of things when you sit in one. And I mean, it sounds like the seats are incredible. I will tell you that the overall aesthetic, in my opinion, does look very clean. Definitely not as minimalist as Tesla interiors, but with the wood, with some other very, very, I think, elegant or classy touches. So I definitely look forward to experiencing it firsthand also.
For sure. Thanks for watching. If you get a chance, please check us out at rivianstories.com. And every like, subscribe, and share helps. Thanks again.